Jimmy and Jessica finally got together at the end of season 19 of NCIS. But there's just one problem. Their relationship breaks one of Gibbs' rules. The entire show was based on Gibbs' rules, and it's the reason it made the entire series kind of fun. Let's look at what rule Palmer and Knight's relationship ended up breaking. And also, let's look at 5 times Gibbs broke one of his own rules. Why the relationship is going against Gibbs' rule. In season 19 of NCIS, we saw a pretty cute relationship blooming between Dr. Jimmy Palmer and Jessica Knight. We're super thrilled, but there's just one thing that this development might clash with. Basically, their relationship at work breaks one of former team leader Leroy Jethro Gibbs' long-standing rules, which is never to date a coworker. Gibbs, a former gunnery sergeant in the Marines who became a federal agent, was known for having a long list of rules that everyone on his team knew and followed. His rules, just like his character and presence, brought a really delicate structure to the show until NCIS season 19 episode 4 when he left the agency. After Gibbs left, the show had to find some other thing to hold it together, and so they brought in a new character. In season 19, we saw that the focus was now more on how everyone would deal with their new boss, Alden Parker, who was a former FBI agent. But the insane twist at the end of the season finale, in which Parker and his ex-wife are on the run from the bad guy without knowing that she's secretly working with him, has led to theories that Gibbs might come back. There was also a special crossover event with NCIS Hawaii, which might hint towards Gibbs' return. The question is, if he comes back, will Palmer and Knight's relationship turn things for the worst? Coming up, will this relationship last? It seems like the show has been building up their relationship for some time, and we want more. At the beginning of season 19, Knight was supposed to go to a family wedding, but her +1 didn't show up. When everyone else was busy, she asked Palmer out on a supposed date. By the end of the episode, they were both ready for the wedding, and by this point, we all thought that they were going to get together right away because they just looked so cute together. We know the episode All or Nothing proved they had finally gotten together, but we're wondering how long it will last, especially if Gibbs may come back in the future. We definitely saw some sparks flying after Jimmy was shot in the leg, and Knight was the one who had to take the bullet out. But Knight was afraid that a failed relationship would hurt their friendship, so they didn't become a couple until the end of the episode. As All or Nothing came to a close, NCIS sent Knight to Jimmy's autopsy to talk about their relationship again. Hey, if the show is building this up so much, maybe their relationship is here to stay, because why else would they work so much on the point leading to it? Both characters have been through a lot, and we've been waiting for some romance, so this relationship would be a big win for everyone. What's more, with Gibbs gone, should Palmer and Knight still follow his rule? Gibbs quitting NCIS to move to Alaska may mean that his rules don't apply anymore, and if that's the case, then Knight and Palmer's relationship could be an exception. In NCIS Season 8, Episode 21, Dead Reflection, Tony and Gibbs had a very tense conversation because of Tony's relationship with Special Agent E.J. Barrett. Tony said that he and E.J. were not on the same team, and Gibbs literally replied with just a "my group, my rules." He also clarified that he thought any relationship between his agents and NCIS workers wouldn't let them do their jobs right. So even though Knight and Palmer don't work together, Gibbs would probably still think that their relationship breaks Rule 12. With Agent Parker joining the show, though, he brought a nice, laid-back attitude. Not only did he bring pastries for the team, but he also talked them through an app, which differed from Gibbs, who hated technology. So he might not be as against Knight and Palmer dating, or he might not be against it at all. In the past, even though McGee and Torres knew about Gibbs' rule, this still didn't stop them from being together. Rule 12 may have hurt some of NCIS's other office romances, but that their relationship is okay with the team could set them apart. Gibbs might or might not come back in season 20, but seeing how Palmer and Knight's relationship develops on NCIS will show how important his rules are even after he leaves. Lastly, NCIS showrunner explains Palmer and Knight's relationship is different. We know this isn't the first time NCIS has shown a workplace romance, but Steve D. Binder, the showrunner, has explained why this one differs from the ones before. He said that Tony and Ziva's seasons on NCIS together were full of the "will they actually do it" trope, so it wasn't really a thing that they were really hoping for. Again, when they saw sparks fly between Nick and Ellie, the writers just said, why not, and ran with it. But Binder clarified that Jimmy and Jessica's relationship will go in a very different direction. He said that this one's special because we came up with it on our own and out of nothing. The show didn't want to take the same path they had taken before. Instead, they wanted it to be more realistic, with two people at work who have feelings for each other and aren't trying to hide it. And now, for 5 times, Mark Harmon's Gibbs broke one of his own rules. First up, rule number 3, never be unreachable. Gibbs wanted to make sure that everyone on the team can always get in touch with each other. And because of this, he says it's important that his teammates are available at all times. This makes sense because emergencies can happen, and a team member being there could be really helpful in solving a case. But in episode 13 of season 6, Lost time, Gibbs broke this rule. When he didn't show up to work, Bishop called him. In that scene, Gibbs picks up his phone, looks at the screen, and sees that Bishop is calling, but instead of answering it, he just hangs up. Up next, rule number 4. The best way to keep a secret: keep it to yourself. Second best, tell one other person if you must. There's no third best. Gibbs is always superb at keeping secrets, until, well, recently. He thinks that the best way to keep a secret is to only tell a small group of people about it. We've seen him be amazing at keeping secrets, until, well, recently, because apparently there is a third best. We saw Gibbs not following this rule after he started having nightmares about killing Pedro Hernandez, who killed his wife and daughter. His conscience bothered him so much that he told over 2 people, which included his teammates, Sloan, and his therapist. Following up, rule number 10, never get involved personally on a case. In episode 21 of season 7, Gibbs said that you should distance yourself from a case so that you can stay aim. But going against his own rule, he got involved when NCIS was looking into the death of his fiancée, Major Ellen Wallace. McGee took him off the case because he was letting his emotions get the best of him. This made Gibbs break Rule 38, which says that your case is the lead. At one point, he was so frustrated that he even told his therapist that Rule 10 had to be burned. Not to mention Rule number 11, when the job is done, walk away. In this rule, Gibbs' teammates are expected to not think about a case too much after it's closed, and we see him introducing this rule in the episode Semper Fidelis. But it seems like this is a man who lets his own emotions take over him, because after he killed Pedro Hernandez, he just couldn't get rid of the weight that was on his shoulders. Even after 30 years, he told his therapist that killing a man in cold blood still made him feel bad. It's sad, but he never really got over killing the people who killed his family. Finally, rule number 15, always work as a team. We know Gibbs is a leader, and leaders always expect good teamwork from their teams, so this one is honestly no surprise. But what we also know is that he went against his own rule when he went alone to talk to Judge Deacon, who had put a hit out on him. The federal judge was a part of a group of judges who used their own version of vigilante justice to help people. Hey, we can't blame him, because it seems like a dude who just enjoys taking matters into his own hands sometimes. And on that note, that's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Palmer and Knight's relationship breaking a huge Gibbs rule? Let us know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.